Once you understand what's being said and what the significance of it is, that's when you need to jump in and participate. You don't want to sit on the sidelines and just pay attention to what's being said but never deal with it. A number of companies have seen the risk of that. For example, I'm sure, how many of you are familiar with the kryptonite lock story? Okay, not that many. Kryptonite bike locks were shown by a blogger to be able to be picked with a Bic pen. This was a couple of years ago. 10 days after the initial, actually this was a message board posting, was picked up by the New York Times. The New York Times writes about it. All of a sudden, the company has major problems, has to do a multi-million-dollar recall, gets a lot of bad press out. Now, it turns out that the communications department at Kryptonite knew that this thing was out there, but they chose not to respond to it. So don't just sit on the sidelines, make sure that you're paying attention. At the same time, you don't want to respond to every criticism. It's one of the things, I come from a political background years ago. When I was in Washington, D.C., you deal with politicians who want to respond. Every time someone criticizes them, they want to respond. I say, no, that's not true, that's not true. Not a good idea. You need to, again, going back to understanding what's being said, the significance of the outlet, understanding the influence of a particular social media outlet versus the audience size. You need to really balance all those things in there and figure out which ones are worth responding to. There's no magic to it. You really just have to develop that intuition over time by understanding sort of the flow of things, who gets their stories picked up by more people. But you want to make sure that you're responding to those that you need to, but also, if someone's really a rabid attacker, it's probably not worth going at them because it just will spawn them to keep attacking you. Again, it's that balance. And finally, transparency may be bunk, as Josh says, but it's still significant in the sense that you want to make sure that you're not pretending to be something you're not. A lot of companies get in trouble that way. So at least be honest about it. Don't pretend to be a customer. Don't pretend to be anonymous out there. Be open and honest that you're from the company you're responding, or you're from an agency and you're responding to what this blogger has said. It's absolutely valid, and as long as you're being clear about who you are and what you're buying,